Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So it's day 2 of my keto diet transition, and I just wanted to hop on here and check in with how I'm doing and all the things I've learned so far because let me tell you, it's been real. This withdrawal from carbs is so real. Oh my gosh. So for those who aren't familiar with the keto diet, you're basically forcing your body to go from burning carbs and sugars for fuel to burning fats and protein for fuel. And when your body's been doing one thing a certain way your whole life, that can be tricky. There can be some resistance to that. So we'll talk about that. And also wanted to share my next steps in my journey to increase my glucose tolerance and insulin sensitivity. Following, the results that I've gotten from wearing my continuous glucose monitor. Now, I am going to be going to a doctor to get a blood test. I did get my A1C levels checked last year, and they were already like on the verge, on that edge of normal. So, it's I'm lucky and I feel so grateful that I'm finding out now that I'm noticing the results of wearing this little guy and flagging this with my doctor. So I'll be going in, getting all my blood work redone. I'll be getting my hormones test done as well and working with a doctor to address this. In any case, if there is glucose intolerance or any slight insulin insensitivity in my cells, I just want to reverse that now and nip that in the butt and be done with it and do like a full body reboot. So I'll be documenting my journey and how I'm doing, but step 1 is going keto. So I've been doing that for the past couple of days and it's been so tough. So yesterday was the first full day of going keto and it was okay. It was okay. So I fasted for almost 18 hours before eating, and then I had like this huge steak the size of a plate and some grilled veggies on the side. I ate that and I was like, all right, like I'm still feeling hungry. And then an hour later, I was still feeling hungry. 2 hours later, I was starving. Hours later, it was like I never ate anything at all. It was wild to me. It's like, how can you eat this plate full of, nutritious food and not feel anything? If anything, I felt more hungry. It's like I didn't eat whatsoever. So I was like, wow, all right. So I guess my body is just like refusing to acknowledge that I ingested any food. I was like, hello, I'm giving you a full plate of food to work with, and my stomach is just kind of like, not into it. Don't compute, give me some carbs, come back later. So I did not eat carbs. I had more protein and fat for dinner. I did a HIIT workout in the evening and went to sleep and woke up, fasted in a fasted state. Fasted for about 16 hours today and no, like 15 hours. And I ate another plate of keto-friendly food. So I had a piece of salmon and some grilled veggies and cabbage and slaw. So again, a plate full of food. And again, nothing. Not even a bit of like, okay, I'm full now, thank you. There was nothing. I felt so hungry. I was like starving. I've never felt that before for so long. I've fasted before. I've done prolonged fasts. If you want to hear my experience on a prolonged fast, I wrote a blog post about my 65-hour fast, so feel free to check that out. But let me tell you, that fast, no problem. Compared to this right now, no problem. I did not feel that state of hunger at all. And so it's just wild to me to be going through this experience and feeling what it's like to truly go through carb withdrawal, because this is like a real withdrawal. I felt like I'm starving. I've had a headache. I've had periods of feeling like weak and kind of like disoriented. I've had anxiety. I've had periods of like my heart just racing and breaking out into sweat. It's been crazy. Like my hands were shaky. It's like every cell in my body, every cell, every neurotransmitter, every gut bacteria is just screaming for carbs, you know, give me sugar, give me carbs, and they will not stop. So it's wild to kind of find out just how addicted my body is to carbs. Now, in terms of my next steps, I learned over the past few days that my glucose response is not so great. I've been wearing this continuous glucose monitor and tracking my numbers, and they were not looking great. So my plan this week was to get my blood testing done and get all my baseline numbers, you know, run my plasma test, micronutrients test, hormone test, you know, just get all my numbers before I make this big life transformation, going on keto, like fasting and everything else that I'm going to be doing over the next 4 months to reverse this, because it is reversible. Impaired insulin response can be reversed. I'm catching this early if it's, you know, truly the case. But unfortunately, I can't get an appointment with my family doctor until next week. Next Tuesday, I'm going to be going. And so this morning, I was kind of thinking about it, like I'm starting this keto diet right now, but I now have to wait a week. It's going to be over a week since I started it until, you know, when I actually go and get my blood work done. And so, you know, your blood test is going to show more than just your fasting glucose and your A1C level. It's going to be testing other biomarkers as well. So I consulted with a few friends in the healthcare field, you know, over what I should do, considering it's going to be another week until I actually test everything. And basically the overall advice was for your absolute baseline numbers for everything that you'll be testing, best to not switch up your diet before you go in. So, you know, the advice was to continue on with my regular diet and not switch to keto. What this means is that I'm going back to eating carbs for the next week. Oh my gosh, like I've been going through this withdrawal for nothing, and I'm gonna have to do it all over again next week. But, this is gonna sound crazy. I was so happy to be eating carbs because for the last 2 days, every cell in my body has been screaming for sugar, and I didn't even, oh my gosh, like you should have seen me getting a piece of rye bread out. Like my hands were jittery. I was like, I can't wait to eat this bread. It was so bad. And it's not like I didn't like gorge out on carbs. Like I had buckwheat with some beef and mushrooms and a little bit of hummus and this piece of rye bread, but I was so happy. I was so happy. So much so that about like 15 minutes after finishing my meal, I literally got like this like warm fuzzy feeling in my arms, like my fingers were tingling. It was like I just got a hit of sugar and my body was so happy. And it's still just mind-boggling to me that this could be a real response to eating carbs and that the withdrawal is so real. So I just wanted to share all of that out. You know, it's a little bit of a change in my plan to go full keto, full force, take action. I need to get all my blood work done, all my tests done, and just really get my baseline so that I can start fresh and really document the transition so I can see what's going on. One thing I did learn with the keto transition is what helps you in keto transition is drinking electrolytes. So I've been drinking this Totem Sport electrolyte drink. They come in these little sachets like this, and you know what, it didn't really help my withdrawal. But, good to know that I'm getting my electrolytes, which is great. But I think I'm having like particularly bad withdrawal symptoms. So maybe this helps someone. Didn't really make a dent for me. Maybe I just should be drinking more of these electrolyte sachets and I wasn't taking enough. But I'm glad that I have them. So I was doing that. So I'll resume that next week when I restart this keto diet. But for now, my body is so happy that I just had some carbs. So since we're here, since I had some carbs tonight, I wanted to share what my glucose readings were when I had a little bit of carbs. And I mean, we're not talking about like gorging on ice cream and cookies and chocolate here. I had some buckwheat, some meat, and a piece of rye bread and like hummus, low carb content. It's just really like the rye bread. And so here we are. So since we're here, since I had some carbs tonight, I wanted to share what my glucose readings were when I had a little bit of carbs. And I mean, we're not talking about like gorging on ice cream and cookies and chocolate here. I had some buckwheat, some meat, and a piece of rye bread and like hummus, low carb content. It's just really like the rye bread. And so here we are. So according to the Mayo Clinic, 1 hour after ingesting a glucose solution, your blood glucose levels should be under 10 millimolar per liter. And at around 1 hour, my blood glucose levels were at like 12.2, just over 12 millimolar per liter. Now, I know some people had comments about the continuous glucose monitor, Freestyle Libre, lagging about 15 minutes behind your true blood glucose levels in time. And so, I'm looking forward to getting an official test done at the doctor's. But, at their highest, my blood glucose response was a 12.7 millimolar on that chart, which is pretty damn high. So I'm looking forward to getting that officially documented and checked. But, it is showing an impaired glucose response curve. A normal glucose response should show a graph that goes up and then starts swiftly going down, versus with mine, you see that it goes up, then it goes up again, and then it slowly starts to decline. So that's the curve that I've been seeing when I did my own glucose response test over the weekend. And I was just not about to ingest 75 grams of sugar again. So I was just curious to see what would happen when I ate some carbs as part of a meal. And, I'm seeing that kind of response curve yet again, which is indicating impaired insulin sensitivity in my cells. Oh, and then 3 hours after ingesting a glucose solution, your blood sugar levels should be under 7.8 millimolar per liter, and at around 3 hours, mine were at 8.4, which again is higher. So the glucose response is not as quick as it probably should be. Again, we'll get this validated with a doctor. I'm very happy to have this glucose monitor though, to kind of alert me that something's not looking right. And I'm excited to get to the bottom of this and start my journey to reverse it, because it is reversible. You can improve your insulin sensitivity and your glucose response. So I'm looking forward to doing that and documenting my journey. So thanks for tuning in, and thank you so much for all the support. I so appreciate it, and all the tips that you guys have been sending in. I love you, and thank you so much.